Get away from her grave. You have no right to be here. Adrian Hale roared, his voice shaking with pain as he saw a janitor kneeling at his daughter's tombstone, openly sobbing, while a small child clung to his arm. The little girl turned, eyes red and quivering, and whispered, "Sir, please don't yell." "We came to thank your daughter, Anne." In that moment, the billionaire felt the ground shift beneath him. The cemetery lay wrapped in the soft stillness of early morning. Frost clung to the edges of each blade of grass, sparkling under the pale sunlight. The air carried a quiet chill, the kind that sank through even the best-made coats and reached straight into the heart. Adrian Hale walked slowly down the narrow gravel path, his polished shoes crunching softly with each step. He carried a bouquet of white lila, his daughter's favorite flowers. 10 years had passed, and still. Each visit felt like reopening a wound that never fully healed. No amount of power, wealth, or influence could protect a father from grief. Adrian stopped. When he reached the familiar place at the far edge of the cemetery, it was a small corner overlooking an old oak tree that his daughter had once loved to climb. Her gravestone stood, their simple, white marble, gentle curves, carved with her name, asterisk, forever loved, forever missed. He drew in a slow, heavy breath. Every year he came early to avoid crowds. Every year he knelt alone. Every year he whispered apologies he could never finish. But this year, he froze mid-step. Someone was already at the grave. A man in a basic janitor's uniform knelt at the edge of the tombstone, shoulders trembling as he cried into his hands. And beside him stood a tiny girl with messy curls, holding onto his sleeve tightly. She couldn't have been older than 6. Her cheeks were wet with tears, but she wasn't crying for herself. She was crying for the man kneeling in front of the grave. Adrian felt a sharp, instinctive anger rise inside him, a protective, grieving father's anger that roared louder than reason. His voice cracked with emotion as he barked, "Get away from her grave. You have no right to be here." The janitor flinched violently, nearly losing his balance. His tears only came faster, soaking the fabric of his uniform. The little girl stepped forward, pressing herself protectively in front of him. Her small voice trembled. "Please, sir, please don't yell. He didn't mean anything bad." Adrian's breath caught. The sight of a child shielding an adult from his anger pressed painfully against his conscience. He opened his mouth to speak, but emotion clogged his throat. "Why are you here?" he demanded more softly. "This is my daughter's resting place." The janitor wiped his face and lifted his head slowly. His eyes were red, swollen, and full of a grief Adrian recognized all too well. "I know who she was, sir," he whispered. "I came here because I owe her my life." Adrian's jaw tightened. "You owe her?" The man nodded, voice uneven. "Yes, sir. Your daughter. She saved me." The little girl tugged at the man's sleeve, as if encouraging him to continue. Adrian stared, unable to move, caught in a whirlpool of curiosity and heartbreak. The janitor took a shaky breath and began to speak. 10 years ago, I was homeless. I slept behind your hotel. People walked past me every day. They pretended I was invisible. I had nothing. No job, no food, no hope. I was ready to give up." He placed his hand carefully on Lily's gravestone. "Then one day your daughter found me sitting in the cold. She didn't judge me. She didn't walk away. She sat beside me. She gave me warm food. She told me I mattered." Adrian felt his knees weaken beneath him. He had known his daughter was kind, but he hadn't known just how far her kindness reached. The man continued, his voice breaking. "Your daughter visited me for a whole week. Every day, she brought food and asked how I was doing. Then one day, she convinced the hotel manager to give me a chance, just a chance to work. I started by washing dishes. I worked hard. I kept that job. And eventually, I met my wife." The little girl stepped closer to the gravestone and touched it gently in. "Then I was born," she said softly, her voice warm and fragile. Tears stung Adrian's eyes. He felt something shift inside him, something deep, painful, and healing all at once. The janitor swallowed hard. I never got to thank her. She passed before I could tell her she saved me. So every year, I come here. I bring my daughter. I tell her about the woman who changed our lives. We come to say thank you. Adrian felt the world tilt. He knelt down slowly, the weight of grief and gratitude blending into something indescribable. He had spent years believing his daughter's impact died with her, but here a child who would not exist without Lily stood before him, living proof that kindness never dies. The little girl reached out and placed a tiny paper flower on Lily's gravestone. I made this, she whispered. It's not perfect, but Daddy said your daughter liked flowers, so I wanted her to have one. Adrian's voice cracked as he whispered she would have loved it. The janitor lowered his head. Sir, I'm so sorry. If you want us to leave... Adrian shook his head firmly. No, please stay. His voice softened. My daughter helped you when she was alive. Today you helped bring her back to me. He placed a trembling hand on the gravestone. For the first time in 10 years, I don't feel alone. The cemetery was silent except for the soft rustling of leaves. The janitor stepped beside Adrian, and together they knelt before Lily's grave. The little girl held Adrian's hand gently, offering a small, warm comfort he didn't know he needed. After a long moment, Adrian stood and turned to the man. Your daughter deserves the best, he said. And so do you. Come to my office tomorrow. I want to help you move up in the company. My daughter believed in you, and so do I. The man broke down, covering his face as tears flowed again, this time from gratitude. Sir, I don't deserve you, deserve every good thing that came because of her, Adrian said softly. Carry her kindness forward. That's all I ask. They walked out together, 3 souls, connected by a love that stretched beyond life, beyond loss, and into a legacy Lily Hale had unknowingly built, for the first time in years. Adrian didn't leave the cemetery with emptiness. He left with purpose. He left with healing. He left knowing his daughter still lived through every person she touched, somewhere. In the quiet wind, he felt her smiling,